I think we're live. This is Jamie J. I am the host of Live with Bottleneck, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business. I'm also shareholder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance, and we're looking forward to inviting you on the program today. Remember, this is live streaming right now, so feel free to participate by asking questions, making suggestions, adding comments. If so, I'll pop you up on the screen there, and Chuck Cooper, who we're going to be talking to today, and I will do our best to answer your questions. If this isn't a rerun or a replay later on, you're seeing this for the first time, and you have some questions, by all means, just type into the chat there, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and I will do my darndest to get back to Chuck, any questions that you have. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing crack-a-lacking. All right, we are live. My name is Jamie J. I am the host of Live with Bottleneck, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business and, you know what, your life. Why not? I'm pretty excited today because we're going to be talking about a topic that's really close to my heart here. What is HR outsourcing? And we're going to be talking with managing member at WhiteWater Consulting, Chuck Cooper. And many people want to know, well, how in the heck is Chuck going to be able to stop the bottleneck in your business? Well, let me tell you. Over the past 25 years, Chuck Cooper has been involved at the ownership level with a number of companies across several different industries. But of all his work-related accomplishments, one stands above the rest. Chuck loves partnering with companies to develop their HR strategies. For him, the greatest reward is seeing clients achieve greater levels of success. Chuck's passion for helping to create a better companies led him to find WhiteWater Consulting in March of 2019. Now, WhiteWater Consulting defines and designs custom HR solutions that allow companies to create a positive culture. We love that. Manage their expenses. We love that. And maximize their revenues. Well, we all love that. Specifically, Chuck helps his clients take care of their people through recruiting and talent management, payroll and compliance, compensation management, group health programs, corporate wellness, and financial wellness plans, and a lot more. To Chuck, faith and family are everything. When he isn't working with companies to develop their HR strategies, he enjoys spending time with his grandkids, reading photography, and college football. He has been richly blessed and happily married to Debbie, his wife, of 35 years, and has 3 children and soon to be 8 grandkids. So congratulations. Without further ado, welcome to Live with Bottleneck. Chuck, how are you?
It's great to be with you, Jamie.
It's really good to be with you. Boy, you've got a pretty big family there.
It is a growing family, one that I never dreamed would be the size that it is today. But I can tell you from experience now that being a grandparent is an amazing chapter of life.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations to you. And so where are you in the world?
My wife and our family are located in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. I love it. I love it. Well, I wonder, before we go on, I definitely want to dive into what is HR outsourcing. It's a topic near and dear to my heart. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about who you are, a little bit about your background, and what you're up to now.
So to really condense and make a long story short, I grew up in the Midwest. Grew up in the central part of Illinois, and was raised in a family-owned business. And during that time, we learned so much about just operating companies and what it was like to deal with customers. And from that, we sold that business several years ago, but then over the last 25 years, I've really had the experience of being involved in management with several different companies in different industries. And there's been, we've experienced during that time, Jamie, we've experienced the thrill of victory as well as the agony of defeat. And we've learned from those defeats and those losses and really helped kind of mold us into the person that we are today. So as I've worked through the last several years, I got to a point where I knew that I wanted to start a new company, and I wanted to be able to continue to serve and work with my heroes, which are the small and mid-sized business owners. And that's kind of what led me to start WhiteWater Consulting. So today, we specialize in that area, and we work with companies today that have anywhere from 10 to 15 employees up to as large as about 500 employees.
Wow. Wow. So you offer a plethora of consulting services, specifically around HR outsourcing. Can you define what HR outsourcing is?
So the best way for me to describe that is to kind of paint a picture for you. That picture would be, as an entrepreneur, you start your business to have a product or a service that is something that you're passionate about, that you believe is going to add value to the market. So as the entrepreneur, you're going out and you're selling, your marketing, your operations, your finance, you're doing everything at that point in time. But as your business grows, you start developing a need to bring on additional resources, and you start to hire employees. Well, the best way for me to describe HR outsourcing is to say that what you are doing from an operations and from the growth in your revenue, the managing of expenses, controlling your costs, all of those things you continue to do. But when you start hiring employees, you basically develop a second business, which is that of being an employer. Most employers are not passionate about HR. So what HR outsourcing allows the company to do is to really be able to plug and play into a platform that is already built that provides all of the HR resources that a company would need. So you're essentially outsourcing that and paying a company to manage that part for you, while that allows you to still have the resources and the time to continue to grow your business, manage your employees, and develop develop the product, all the while taking care of your greatest asset, which are your people.
I love that. Yeah, we started our business I'm speaking for many entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and we started our businesses because we really were passionate about one thing. And then all of a sudden we got to become accountants, and we got to be, make sure we're sending out invoices. So we got to do, now we got to manage it. And all of a sudden you kind of lose focus and you get spread so thin, and that could become stressful. What are some of the things that, you can outsource in HR?
Well, it really starts with the number one thing is you can outsource your payroll, and really the payment of payroll and payroll taxes and the processing that comes along with that, as well as the employee benefits. So one of the advantages of using the HR outsourcing model is that it allows you to really plug and play into a company that has maybe has tens of thousands of companies that they already work with, but it allows them to pool all of their employees together. So it creates this big basket of maybe 100,000 people within that group. So you use those economies of scale then to be able to control your pricing and your increases from one year to the next. And so it allows you to offer a richer benefit to your employees at an earlier stage, which allows you to attract and retain higher quality people.
So you get kind of the buying power.
Correct. Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And in addition to that, you also get the resources to be able to ensure that your company is operating and you're staying in compliance with all of your state and federal guidelines as well.
And so basically you're kind of washing your hands of that, knowing that it's being taken care of, and you just have the confidence that that's going to work, so that you and your employees now can really focus on their role and responsibilities.
Exactly. So the best way to describe it is you get to maximize your revenue, control your costs, minimize or mitigate your liability, and again, taking care of your greatest assets.
Oh, that's fantastic. So do you do anything else besides the payroll and the benefits? Is there any other things that you do?
Sure. I mean, so when you think about a Fortune 500 company and you think about their HR department, you walk into their building, they've got floors of people that are strictly doing HR related service and task. And so it's really that same model just being provided to a small to mid-sized business owner through the HR outsourcing arena. So that's really it. When you think about the HR umbrella, Jamie, you think about everything from early on, from a recruiting of new employees, the applicant tracking, the HR technology that comes along with that, to the onboarding of those new employees, to the payroll, to the benefits, to the
That's a lot
offboarding.
of work.
It's a lot that's actually built into that. And so, and it's really, really economical for the business owner to be able to utilize. So it's, it's a great solution for a lot of companies.
Yeah, that way you're not creating something from scratch.
Well, why would you? Exactly. So, but why would you want to do that as a business owner?
Yeah, why would you want to recreate the wheel? You don't have time for that. You need to talk to Chuck Cooper, and you need to, be on the podcast and meeting and greeting and growing the business.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing. That's one of the things we take greatest pride in is that, over our last couple of years of being in business, over 80% of our new businesses actually come from our client referrals. And so it tells us that the services that we're providing is a great value to our current clients, and they believe in it strong enough that they're referring us into their friends and even their competitors in a lot of situations.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
This is a tough world that we've been in. That kind of with regards to what's happened, things are changing drastically. Have you seen a big shift since the impact of COVID and what that's done to businesses? I know we lost 62% of our business.
Wow.
Not necessarily because of lack of our service, but many people either really pulled back or they shut their doors. We noticed massive changes. And so we had to kind of jump in the ditch and, really get into figuring out who we were, what we were doing. And we ultimately decided, COVID was a blessing in disguise for us because it gave us some time to really reimagine what we wanted to do and how we wanted to present that. I'm wondering, are you finding things like that happening or occurring quite a bit, or what have you seen?
That is a great question, Jamie, because the truth is, we started our company in 2019. So we are a very young company. And so when COVID hit really in our area in March of 2020, we went to shelter in place. I really didn't know for sure what was going to happen to our company and the business that we were working with. The reality is, to your point earlier, it was a real blessing in disguise because from a business perspective, it forced everyone to go virtual. And with that, it gave us the opportunity really to expand our landscape as far as where we could actually serve clients. So rather than just being focused, say, just in the Carolinas, we're working with companies in California, New York, Texas, Florida, Illinois. So it's really been able to help us expand our reach that we've had. And our mission is really all about helping to serve and support small and mid-sized companies. So it expanded our mission in a great way. But what we've early on, as COVID hit and we went to, everybody was going through difficult times where they were laying off their teams to trying to figure out where do we go and how do we pivot. I started reaching out to a lot of small businesses, talking with their ownership about the PPP loans, because that was something that was a real savior for a lot of them, just to give them the finances and the funding they need to be able to get through that time period. So we helped a lot of businesses that we had never talked to before kind of work through that PPP process and get their loans, get funding, and help them stabilize their company. And so that was just something that we were able to do to be able to serve and to support, the community that we wanted to really be a part of. And then from that, it was interesting as we talk with leadership at these companies, the companies that were a part of a peer advisory group where they had other business owners that they were connected with, those business owners, they were actually able to really look at what was going on in their market and really make changes much quicker with a lot more confidence. And so they were able to lead their organization a lot more effectively going forward versus those CEOs and business owners we spoke with that were sitting in their office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to figure out what do we do? Where do we go? They just didn't have anybody around them to really be able to help support them and help be a sounding board for them to give them some guidance on where to go. So that was one of those opportunities that we really helped direct, a lot of our clients and prospective clients to those type of groups to be a part of, because there's great wisdom and counsel that comes from having people like that around you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can tell you, my wife, she helps out with all the billing and the invoicing and the payroll and all of that stuff. And she was very successful in getting our PPP loan. But more importantly, she needed to get involved again when it came time to prove that we used the funds in the right way to get, and that's a process. Thank the Lord she's here. But I can see why people would need your service or a service like that, because that is just something I really didn't know anything about.
We all started at the same level. None of us had any real insight. There was no experience in how to develop those processes for getting the funding, and then, like I say, working through that the forgiveness part of that to get document where you spent those funds and what percent was spent where, and how it was allocated. So, and all of those are really important pieces, again, to be able to get the forgiveness of those loans, so that you can maximize the impact of that resource.
Yeah. It was crazy. Well, it's a tremendous service. What are some of where is someone at right now, where it's a really good time to come and meet Chuck and what you do at WhiteWater Consulting? And conversely, is it too late? Is it ever too late to come in and meet you? Or
that is so, it's really fun because, again, I never know when I come to work every day. I don't know what kind of situations we're going to find ourselves in. And that's part of the thrill and the joy of what I get to do, because every day, pretty much, I get to talk to entrepreneurs that are really have just kind of got a concept or an idea in mind as far as starting a business. They don't have a business plan. They've got nothing more than just they think they have something that could be of value. And so we get to explore and do a deep dive into that and what that looks like for them, and kind of get an idea where their vision is. And from that, we can help provide them with some guidance and some resources to take that from the conceptual phase into the implementation phase. In addition to that, I have business owners that I talk to regularly that have been in business for 20, 25 years, and they are really starting to get to the point where they're ready to exit their business. And so we believe that when it comes to the exit phase, that's something that should be a long-term planned process, and not only helping them work through that, the transaction of exiting, but also that life transition that they are getting ready to move into. I feel like that's a personal mission of mine as well. It's just to help CEOs and business owners transition well, because as you probably know, the high percentage of entrepreneurs that sell their business 12 months later are not in a really good spot mentally. And so I think,
okay, what do I do? Like, where do I go? It's kind of like getting out of the military, and then what do I do? Where do I go?
So much of your identity is tied up in that business.
Yeah.
And your personal mission as well. So I think making sure they know where they're going, make sure that they and their spouse may be on the same page, because I hear stories from business owners saying, well, I'm going to go play golf every day, or I'm going to go sail. You can do that for a while, and then it's like that new wears off and you're like, what do I do at this point? So we just want to help them make that transition well.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's exciting. How do people get in touch with you, Chuck?
So really the best way to get in touch with me, we are very active in social media. So everything from LinkedIn to Facebook to Twitter are all things that we are on daily. Also, probably a couple of the other ways for people to reach me is to email me. My personal email is chuck@whitewaterconsulting.net. And our website is also whitewaterconsulting.net. So you can also go there and fill out the information box on there. That information will come to me, and we can connect via the website as well.
Fantastic. Well, what else would you like to say before we wrap today?
I think that just as we've kind of come through the COVID situation, Jamie, I think that a couple of things that we are seeing business owners really starting to focus on now is they have 5 generations of five generations in their workforce today. And when it comes to their company culture, as well as the benefits that can help attract and retain those people and help those employees feel fulfilled at work. Those are everything that we have typically done in the past is really open to being revisited and looking at ways that we can make a new process. I heard many times in the past from as we went through COVID, owners saying, I can hardly wait until we can go back to the way it used to be so we can get back to what was normal. And as I thought back on those days, I heard so many people talk about our work-life balance is not in balance. And they had challenges when it came to that. And so I looked at COVID and everything we've come through as an opportunity really to be able to recreate what we want our new norms to be as we move forward, whether it's our family, whether it's our work, whether it's our society. And so I really think that from a business owner perspective right now, and particularly from the HR and the people side, we need to really be open to putting aside the way that we've always done things and really be focused on what do we need to do to be able to thrive, to be able to move forward, because we have a lot of millennials and a lot of Gen Z coming into the workforce that they're different. They have different ideas, different mindsets than what the baby boomers and the Gen X has had. So I think those are things we've got to be aware of and we need to be talking about and collaborating about as we move forward.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's really, 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 really sound, sage advice. You have to know how to communicate effectively with people, especially in times where we kind of are, there's a lot of anxiety. We don't really know what's going on. What is the future of work? I'm lonely working by myself, and like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of things going on that we just don't really know. More so than before, I think. Nobody really knows what the future holds, but in tumultuous times, it kind of adds to that. So thank you for bringing up, Chuck. I think it's really important. I'm an avid, huge, massive fan of company culture. And I think that has a lot to do with leadership and making sure that, you're in the right mindset and you're communicating effectively and all that stuff. I can't echo it, how much I agree with your recommendation there. Thank you for sharing.
Well, it's been great to be with you today, Jamie. I've enjoyed our conversation. And again, I look forward to, continuing to have conversations with folks like yourself and with your listeners as well.
Well, thank you so much, Chuck. Do you have just a second and we'll go ahead and wrap up?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chuck. Be right with you. And I just want to say thanks to everybody for taking the time to check out Live with Bottleneck today. Chuck Cooper is the managing member at WhiteWater Consulting. Today, he does a plethora of things. You really need to go check out whitewaterconsulting.net. But today we talked about what is HR outsourcing? What does that entail? And how can that benefit you, the business owner, the business leader? And he's the managing member at WhiteWater Consulting. And I think it's really important. There's a lot of stuff that we try to do in our business where we kind of need to get out of our own way, especially during a growth phase or at the opportunity of growing. You actually are battling yourself and you're preventing yourself from growing your business. I would highly encourage you, just reach out to Chuck. You can email him, chuck@whitewaterconsulting.net. And I'll put that up here for you so that you can see it one more time, chuck@whitewaterconsulting.net. Go check out his website, whitewaterconsulting.net. There you can fill out his little form on the website there, and he'll get back to you and help you out. And just explore some opportunities, ask him some questions. I would highly encourage you to do that, especially if you're looking at growing your business, if you're overwhelmed in your business, if you're maybe looking at transitioning out of your business, you're exiting your business. These are all things that Chuck can help you out and the gang over at whitewaterconsulting.net. So I want to say thank you so much, Chuck, for joining in with us. If you want to see other episodes very similar to this, you can go to bottleneck.online/BTV. It stands for Bottleneck Television, and learn how you can break through the bottleneck in your business today and your life. And I can't wait to make this announcement. Tuesday, August 31st. That is coming up next Tuesday. My book is going to be live. It's published after 9 months of writing and rewriting and rewriting. Quit repeating yourself, how today's leaders are using systems and processes to grow their business the right way. We're going to be talking about exploring the intersections of culture, leadership, systems, processes, recruiting, and hiring. I'm really, really excited about it. At the same time, I want to say thank you so much to Elaine Pofeld. I'm going to be featured in Forbes magazine with the book, Quit Repeating Yourself. She's kind of helping me support the book on the day of its launch, so really excited about that. And previously, in case you missed this, Mike Finger, he's the owner of Exit Oasis. We talked about how giving away all your work helps you sell your business. That was previously on Live with Bottleneck. You know what's really cool is, for some reason, I'm finding that my conversations, like today with Chuck and just recently with Mike, they kind of are kind of fitting together, and I didn't plan that. It's just really, really cool. So highly recommend. Special, big, huge thank you to Chuck for joining us today. What is HR Outsourcing? Thank you so much, Chuck Cooper. Please reach out to him. Go to WhiteWaterConsulting.net to learn more. And without any further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap up today. One more thing. Don't forget, or I should say, create your own ripple. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good one.